Hey, hi, my name is Ferri Cousins, and I'm here at the AQS Paducah Show 2018, and it's just such an honor to be here. This is my quilt, Endangered, the Lemur's Tail, and the story behind these lemurs, they were confiscated at, they're living at a rescue zoo in southern Spain, and confiscated from the black market trade of endangered species going from Africa into Europe. And when they're confiscated at the ports, the rescue zoo will take care of them. And so I went to visit the zoo, and I was able to interact with these with these animals. And I decided, after I took this picture, that I wanted to make a quilt, and just to honor these animals and the plight that they're going through right now. And so the quilt was made by projecting the photo image on silk. It was traced, and then it was painted with silk inks and dyes, and then I took the piece and started quilting it and layered and all that. I did a lot of thread painting and body contouring with a lot of feathering in here, but very natural looking feathers just to go along with the animal. I also took photocopied a piece of the tail and did a photo transfer of the tail and made the border. And this part of the border has the baobab tree and all around it the roots and branches. And with the tail I also put some fringe here, and I used a clover little loom, a tassel maker, and I wrapped the thread around and sewed the middle and attached it with thread painting. So everything's thread painted, and I'll show you the back of the quilt so you can see the tail. And there was a nice challenge that I had when I like to triple bat a lot of my, put triple batting on a lot of the parts of the quilt, and I did on the planet Earth up there. And when I did it, the Africa didn't pop out the way I wanted it to. So I needle fed some wool roving into the back of the quilt, into the African part, and I actually damaged the back of the quilt. And it was just like a hole, and the silk was just damaged. So what I ended up doing was that I took some dye, some more dye, and I kind of touched it up, and it just did a nice job. So, you know, sometimes you can recover a mistake that you made. So that was nice to be able to do that. So the whole thing was challenging, and I'm just so honored to have it go into the Quilt Museum now, and that others can enjoy it as well.
How long did it take?
And it took me around 2 years to quilt. It hung, after it was painted, it hung on my wall for a year just so I could, you know, look at it and see how I really wanted to quilt it. It took a while, and they kept me company for 2 years.
What did you quilt it with?
I used silk threads and also some Aurifil cotton, 50 weight. So pretty much all that, and everything, the border, everything is silk. The batting itself is, I used a bamboo batting. I used actually some of the Hobbs fusible. With this, I put it on the, when I do the triple batting, I like to trace the image and then cut it out. I trace it on a piece of paper and put it on the batting, trace it out, and then I iron it on to the back of the quilt. So it's an easy way to make sure it doesn't move around the batting. And then I put a full sheet of batting in after that. That's how I do it.
Domestic or long arm?
I used a HQ Sweet 16, so it's a stationary machine. And actually, when I do the quilting, I start in the middle and I hoop it. It's so densely quilted that I like to hoop it and make sure everything is in place. And when I do the painting part first, and the border I attached with a quilt as you go. So sometimes I like to just leave my painting quilted and not have a border, so it's nice to do the quilt as you go, to add a border to see, afterwards whether or not it needs it. You're not sure when you're making the piece, so it's nice to be able to have that option.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.